My son knew where I lived for 3 years before I knew he existed. There's a folder that proves it, and it's the reason I can't hate his mother the way I should. Here's how I found out I was a father. A police officer called me on a Tuesday. My ex, Larissa, had vanished the summer after high school. Number dead, family's house suddenly empty, no goodbye. I spent years wondering what I did. Turns out what I did was become a father the following March, 2 states away, to a boy she named Theo. She never told me. She only said my name 14 years later, when she was arrested for check fraud. Third offense, real time, and they asked about next of kin for her son. The DNA test took 9 days. The social worker took 3 more, and then a lanky kid with my mother's exact eyebrows was standing on my porch holding a duffel bag and a milk crate, looking at me like I was a math problem. The milk crate was full of tools, cheap, mismatched, some clearly salvaged, a socket set missing half its sockets, a multimeter held together with electrical tape. I'm a diesel mechanic. I stared at that crate longer than I stared at him, and the first words my son ever said to me in person were, "Don't touch those. They're mine." Fair enough. The first weeks, I lived with a polite ghost. He ate fast and quietly, like food could be taken back. He thanked me for insane things: a towel, a light left on, dinner existing. The social worker had warned me. Larissa told him I knew about him and didn't want him. 14 years of that, so I didn't push. I just kept showing up with food and rides and silence he could use however he wanted. Then one Saturday, my neighbor's mower wouldn't start, and before I had my boots on, Theo was crouched over it. Carb cleaner, feeler gauge, 11 minutes, first pull. My neighbor offered $10, and Theo said, 20. It needed a plug, and I supplied it. I had to sit down on the step. The kid had a rate card. That's how it came out. Over engines, the only language we both speak fluently. While Larissa ran her schemes, Theo kept them alive by fixing things. Neighbors' bikes, box fans, a landlord's dryer once, traded against late rent. Self-taught since he was 9. But here's the night the hook comes from. 2 months in, I knocked to say goodnight, and he was sitting on the bed holding a battered folder, the kind you know instantly is important. He looked at me a long second, then he handed it over. It was me. Printouts, my old employer's staff page, a photo of my truck from a town Facebook group, a map with my shop circled. The oldest page was dated 3 years back. My son found me when he was 11. He'd known where I was the whole time, for 3 years. "Why didn't you ever?" I started. "Because Mom said you knew," he said, "and you never came. So if I showed up, you'd say no to my face." I wasn't ready for that. Quieter. Sometimes I'd check if the shop was still there, that's all. Just checking. 11 years old, holding proof of a father 40 minutes away, and the math he'd been given said, he knows, and he chose not to come. She didn't just keep him from me. She made my silence look like an answer. That's the part I have to forgive without excusing, because hating her out loud costs him something, and he's paid enough. I told him the truth with the folder shaking in my hands. I never knew. There is no life, none, where I knew about him and stayed away. He didn't answer that night, but the next morning, the milk crate was sitting on my workbench, next to my tools. That was the answer. It's been a year. He works Saturdays at my shop, real paychecks. The rate card is genetic, Larissa writes. He decides which letters to open, and my opinions stay in my pocket where they belong. Last month, a customer asked, "You the owner's helper?" Theo said, "I'm his son." Not, "He's my dad. I'm his son." Like a fact he'd verified himself. Like something that finally started on the first pull.